Well, President Carter, I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate you being here. It's very nice of you. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to see you.
Because I know you have a very busy schedule, and to make room for us really means a great deal to me. Thank you again.
Well, I just thank you for having me on your show, Regis.
We don't get many presidents on this television show. In fact, we've never had any. But we're very excited, as I have said all night, that our first guest has had some time to come by and say hello. Please welcome the author of this book right here. It's entitled Talking Peace. And, ladies and gentlemen, the 39th President of the United States of America, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy! That's very nice. You got a standing ovation there. Good for you. Thank you very much for your time. I know you must be busy and certainly have better things to do than say hello to us, but I'm grateful to you for it.
Well, I appreciate being here. I'm glad to sell the book. That's the way I make a living.
Yeah. I mentioned that we met once before. Do you remember that? Do you remember the circumstances under that?
Well,
you're not under oath.
Well, I know, but I've always made a practice to tell the truth. And, I meet a lot of famous people. DiMaggio, Carlson, Leno, and so forth. I can't say that I remember, David.
You don't remember?
No.
You were actually doing another television show, live at 5, across the hall.
I remember that television show very well. Yeah.
And I came up and you had Footsteps of Abraham. Was that the name of the book? Something like that?
My memory is as good as yours. Blood of Abraham.
Blood of Abraham. All right.
Still on sale.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I came up and I had you autograph a copy for me.
Oh,
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for remembering.
Oh, sure. Thank you. What did you make of the events a couple of weeks ago? It was a nice honor for you to be there and to be recognized for your efforts in the Middle East.
Well, it was exciting and gratifying. There were a lot of preparations that had to go into it, though. That was the first time I visited the White House since I left 12 and a half years
Is that right?
So, and Bill Clinton explained to me all the preparations that had to be made. And this is a true story. He called Prime Minister Rabin, who did not want to come. And he finally said, okay, please come. I think it'll be a momentous, earth-shaking event. And I'd like for the world to see you and Arafat on the same stage. And Rabin finally said, okay, I'll come. And then he said, well, I'd like for you all also to exchange a handshake. And Prime Minister Rabin said, I'll exchange a handshake, but no kisses. This is a true story.
It's like my honeymoon, you know what I mean?
I know.
You hadn't been there in 12 and a half years?
No. Even when they hung my portrait in the White House, they had a ceremony.
Yeah.
But they forgot to invite me. I didn't even So I saw my portrait in the White House and my wife for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Now, we know about some of the things that you do, certainly, and we know about some of the things that other former presidents do. And I think something that kind of got the attention of folks, I don't know, a year and a half ago, a couple of years ago, former President Reagan allegedly received like $2 million to go speak in Japan, I think. I may have the facts not exactly nailed down on this, but yeah. Now, can you comment on that? Is that all right for him to be taking a $2 million fee to go someplace and speak?
Well, I'm not a judge, David, and I hate
Former president.
Well, I know, but I hate to say anything against President Reagan. I hate to criticize another president, but if anybody knows of another opportunity for a $2 million fee, I wish I'd
Oh, yeah? Well, get in line.
Yeah, I like it.
When you were very, very fit, when you were in office and, of course, traveling around, and I don't think you speak many languages, do you? How many do you speak other languages?
Just one.
Just English? Yeah.
Just
so
Spanish.
it can be.
I also speak Spanish.
You speak a little Spanish
Yeah,
as well?
sure.
Good for you. But it can be an obstacle, certainly, maybe not to the extent that it was then. But when you go to a foreign country, you're at the mercy of a translator. Do you travel with your own translator? Does the leaders of the other country provide you with one? How does that work?
Well, we were just talking about Japan. I went to Japan the year that I got out of the White House. involuntarily. And when I got there, when I got there, I was asked to make some speeches, and I made a graduation speech to a small college near Osaka. And since I had just left the White House, the audience was really uptight. It was students and their parents and teachers, and I was a little bit nervous too. So I thought that I would just put them at ease with a joke.
Good idea.
And it takes.
I try that occasionally here myself.
I wondered about that, and then. I knew it took longer.
It's a good thing you've got the Secret Service with you.
I knew it took longer to say anything in Japanese than it does English.
Yeah.
So I decided to take the shortest joke I knew. It was one left over from my original governor's campaign. It was not a very funny joke, but brief. So I told my joke, and the interpreter gave my joke to the audience. And there was uproarious laughter. It was the best I have ever gotten from an audience. And so I couldn't wait to get through with my talk. I went back to the holding room with the interpreter, and I said, "Tell me how you told that joke. I want to use it the same way in English." And he was very evasive. And but I insisted, and he finally ducked his head and turned away, and he said, "I told the audience, President Carter told a funny story. Everyone must laugh." So sometimes.
No.
Yeah, really, that
That's great.
So sometimes an interpreter can really help. But this is another true story. I went the first time I made a foreign trip as president. It was to Poland, and then I went to other places. But when I got off the plane in Poland, I had an interpreter there, and I didn't write my speech out ahead of time. It was just a greeting. It was a very welcoming group, and mostly very heavily Catholic. And I got out and I told them that I understood that their heritage was one of commitment to and love of freedom. Love of freedom. And the interpreter said that I knew about their commitment to free love. Well, it didn't go over well with the audience. And this is, you can look it up in the records, it's a true story. And all over the world, I was accused of saying that Polish Catholic people were committed to free love.
Wow. Welcome words from the president. The book Talking Peace, I know a little bit about this. It's for students, younger people, but I guess for everybody.
In high school and college, and also for their teachers and their parents. It describes all the wars in the world, what causes war, the connection between peace and democracy, freedom, human rights, alleviation of suffering. What can be done, the techniques of mediation, what can be done to end wars, and what young people in this nation can do about it. And the same techniques that you use to resolve conflicts, say, in the Middle East, like at Camp David, are the ones that you can use within a family or within a high school, and the commitment to freedom and democracy. So all of this is in one book.
It must have been very gratifying for you to be there a couple of weeks ago when they signed the framework for peace. And I personally have a lot of admiration for you, and I thank you very much for your time. Nice to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again, sir.